How would you train for deception? Obviously, like you can tweak the pitch grip, you can try the movement profile of a pitch itself. But have you ever like specifically tried to get a guy to stride more crossbody or counter rotate more to hide the ball, or like are there different ways to train deception besides simply just making a pitch better based on spin and movement type of profile?
I think it's a combination of arm action, horizontal stride angle. Like people get sick of me because I want to close everybody up. When you run correlations in the lab, hip shoulder separation, basically the more linear you can make a pitcher because shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, you do boost velocity. And there's high correlations with all those data points. You see Driveline doing the open biomechanics stuff right now and posting all the correlations. And so the more linear you make a pitcher, the harder he will throw. But nobody's really trying to quantify visual deception. And I just remember going back to the 27 at-bats I had in the big leagues, and I got to face some of the best pitchers in the world, like Steven Strasburg, his rookie year when he was punching out everybody, Eric Bedard, who led the league in strikeouts, Ben Sheets. Like, I can remember the guys. I literally couldn't see the ball. And that feeling has stuck with me forever. And it's usually something they're doing. Cleveland's really big on getting the glove up in the release point window. I love that concept because anybody who's ever used a camera, and I'm a photography major, when you put something in the foreground, the lens, if it's on autofocus, focuses on that. And then you take it away, and it takes a split second for it to refocus on the background.
Right.
So a human eye works the same way. You put something in the foreground, and then all of a sudden you take it away. The eye has to find that new focal distance where the release point is. So even just disrupting it with something little like that, I know that Cleveland's really big on that. Those are all things that add up to better visual deception. My teammate in AA was Yusmeiro Petit, who all he did was every day in the mirror try to hide the ball behind his torso. And, he had massive extension. I remember throwing a bullpen after him, and his foot was landing like a foot past mine. And he made a great career out of throwing 91 miles an hour. Some great World Series performances, just always pitched above what we would typically consider his pitch quality. And it was because of his visual deception. And he actually actively worked on it every single day. And so I give him a lot of credit. He got 10 plus years in the big leagues, focusing on visual deception, probably when most people don't think twice about it.
Do you think we'll get to the point where we can quantify visual deception in a more accurate way? Or is that something where it's going to be more of the art side of coaching?
I think there's guys that kind of have a visual deception ceiling that's lower than others.
Right.
Ultimately, if you can get into your scap load with your hand behind your torso, and then you can get, into your max external rotation behind your head, and then as you rotate forward, your hand, you get huge external layback where it's hiding behind your elbow, and you have a close stride, and you have a funky tempo, rhythm, hitch. It's just all those cumulative elements add up to more visual deception. And then you typically see.
So there's going to be like there's a list of checkpoints of things that could be seen as deceptive, and the more of those that you hit, theoretically, the more deceptive you would be. Like if you have the guy with the glove arm and the crazy hair and the crossbody, like Josh Hader, for example,
Yep.
and hiding the ball and weird arm slot and outlier pitch quality, like you just keep checking all those boxes, that's going to be a more deceptive guy.
Yeah. And my favorite, like the really thick torso.
Yeah.
I
The
shared a
Bartolo
jersey
one.
with Bartolo, so
Yeah.
I'm a biggest Bartolo fan. And so, you look back at the guys who are really barrel chested, you just couldn't see the ball off them. The Kurt Schillings, the Roger Clemens. There's an element of it versus if you're extremely skinny, the hitter you don't occlude the ball very well, and hitters just see it often. And any visual information you can give them just helps them in, analyzing both final location of the zone and the 3D path of the baseball.